Hi guys, so welcome to stages 72, 73, 74. In this issue, among other things, we will be installing a storage compartment, walkway and tools. Okay guys, so as always, let's start with a parts checklist. I'll just move my camera a little bit. I think that's going to fall off soon. Yep, that's going to fall off. Sorry guys. So we have got a storage compartment. I think most of these are not really anything we've never seen before. Storage compartment. We have a large raised walkway, which is this one. I do like these pieces. These ones are really nice. We have a small raised walkway, and we have a medium raised walkway. Then we have got a... Now I was worried that I'd lost some hubcaps. It turns out I hadn't lost them. They just haven't arrived yet. So we have got a small front wheel hubcap. We have got a large rear wheel hubcap, and we have got the dreaded compartment handle. We've also got two little tools. We have got a hydraulic ram jack. So that looks a bit like a funny crowbar with a extending bit on the end. Is this one of those things that you put in and you press something and then this flies out and it smashes a window or something? I'm not sure. This I understand. This is an axe, and this is really nicely painted actually, in all fairness. That's a really good job on that painting. I don't know if they're hand painted or machine painted, but obviously hand painting pushes the costs up. Machine painting tends to sort of lower the quality, but it's a really good quality. So lastly, we've got an L-type screw, which I'm going to pop in there. Keep the hubcaps and screw L in a safe place for a later stage. So as they put it like that, we'll pop the hubcaps. Now let's pop the hubcaps in a bag, and then we'll pop that in the spares bag, spares box for later, because it's told us to do it now, so we know we won't use them. Right, so take the large raised walkway and note that there is a hole at one end shown here to the left. So there's the hole there, and I think my cat's after something because he is rubbing at my legs. So he either needs attention or he just wants something. Right, so that is going to be put in. Let's move this fire truck around so that it's... Yeah, he's trying to climb up me now. Hello Shadow mate, how are you? Now if you stay on my lap, that will be perfect. I've got to get a shot of this. There he is. This is the big beastie now. So he's in a good way. Right, I've just lost the walkway. Did I put... There we are. Right, so this walkway is going to go there, which is just underneath where it says tower ladder 9. Now there should be a push fit connection. There's a hole there, there and there. Hopefully it will go in place. No, it's the wrong way round. This hole needs to be further back, pointing more towards the rear, and coincidentally it fits better, but it's not fitting in on this end because this turntable's in the way. So I'm going to just turn this away around. Hello matey, you need a bit of the fire truck action, do you? No, this is tricky. Right, so you're going to actually have to push that underneath. It doesn't really want to fit. Ah, there we go, of course. So just move this. See, you've got a little cutout bit there. Just move that to there. My next fear, of course, is that it's not going to, yeah, it's going to catch when you turn the ladder. So there you go. That's not so bad. So you got to be mindful of that. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I'm happy enough with that. So let's get this ladder down. Oh, Shadow, you are so in need of fuss, aren't you? Right. I'm really struggling with this button, you know. I don't really want to use a screwdriver because it runs the risk of damaging the end. I've got tail in the way now, all sorts. Right, so that's in place. So on that, so now we need to just move this away. We're going to do a storage compartment. So we have this storage compartment here. We've seen one very similar, and we're going to need some glue. So a little bit of glue onto a scrap piece of plastic, of which I have tons. I'm going to use this piece of plastic from a completely different build. The problem with this is my nozzles are clogged up, so I have to take the nozzle off, put a little bit on there. I do love this super glue gel. Now I always, where possible, I use gel because gel doesn't run everywhere. If you only have thin super glue, that's fine, but I just, it's a preference of mine. Right, so we have the holes at the top, and then as you know, these handles are teardrop shape. They want to go that way. There is a shaped peg, so it will only go in one way, and it wants to go in like so. And I'm going to see if I can cheat. I'm going to see if I can apply some glue from behind and see if that will hold it in place. In fact, do you know what? I've told you I use gel super glue. You might actually be better off using thin. Yes, so that's fixed it fine. But if I'd have used thin glue, what I could have done is just popped a little bit in the back there, and because it's thin, it will then run in. But that's actually gone in really nice, and that might be one of the best handles I've done on this whole build. Really nice, really happy with that. Perfect. Right, so that storage compartment needs a walkway. So we're taking this walkway, and it looks like it's the same either direction. So that's going to go in 2 little locating pegs, 2 holes, in like so. Perfect. And that will go in to the back of the truck. So we have to move this ladder out of the way. You see we've got one there. We need a matching one on this side, and that's just going to push in. That's a stiff connection. That's a little bit raised. That's not too bad actually. Not as bad as the other side if I recall correctly. But that's in properly. So the next thing we want our small raised walkway. Again, this has 2 pegs. It doesn't look like there's a direction, but that's going in there to match this one. So we'll just feel the holes. That's not wanting to go in. That's really, really stiff. I don't want to push on the model too much. See if I can get it in the other way round. Yes, it looks like possibly. No, I had it the right way round. There is one peg larger than the other, but I actually had it in the correct way the first time. And I think the problem is with the larger peg. Saying that, that's gone in. That's in absolutely fine. Yeah, happy with that. Right. So next we want to take the axe. No, we want to take this particular storage compartment. We want to open it up, and I'm actually going to take this out because no, I can't. Right, so this axe needs to go in the bottom part. Let me show you inside the storage compartment. So we've got two bits, one at the bottom, one at the top. The axe needs to go in the bottom, and I don't suppose it makes a difference. Maybe it does, but they have placed it so that the axe is pointing that way. I'm guessing maybe, you know, I'm going to have to take this out, and this is in really stiff, so I'm going to have to get it out with something. There we go. So we place the axe in. I don't know whether it's going to be easy to put the top bit in or the bottom. You know, I can smell something on my desk. I was doing some airbrushing last night, and I've just been doing some gluing, so I don't actually know if I can smell glue or airbrush cleaner. Right, this is a real struggle, guys. So whether there's too much paint on the part, but that's definitely not wanting to go in. Whether it's because I don't have, right, I think it might be the angle. You know, I'm beginning to think, do you know what? I'm going to glue that in. I'll try this. Gently use some pliers. I think that is actually in, it's just not staying in. Right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a tiny dab of glue on that. It just means that we won't, I mean, these are all push fitted in anyway, so they're obviously not designed to come out. No, do you know what? Good job I checked that. That is actually too big, so I'm going to remove some of the paint. Just give it a gentle rub all over. It is a rounded peg, so obviously you've got to work your way round. Don't file flat, guys. See if that makes a difference. Not quite. But you know my philosophy, it's always better to remove not enough than to remove too much. Because if we remove too much, that's not going to stay put in there. No, still not enough. I'm also wondering if that, let's get a cocktail stick. That hole looks blocked. Don't think it is. So, yeah, just looking at removing most of the paint. I've actually at the stage now where I've moved all the paint. Right. Still not going in. Okay. I think the other side is going in okay. So I'm going to cheat, guys. I'm going to use a little dab of glue. But do you know what? Right, this is a big cheat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this tab down so that I've got almost all of the tab. And the same with this one. I'm going to cut this one right down. So you see I've hardly got anything. I've just got a little bit just to help me locate. Because that tab seems to go in. And then what I'm going to do with a cocktail stick, I'm just going to put a tiny dab of glue over each of the holes, and then on this one I'm just going to put the glue on the actual axe, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that in the hole there, and then the axe there, Give it a couple of seconds. Perfect. So that axe is in there as though it's been put in with a push fit connection. Right, so the next thing we want to do is pop our jack, and it appears to be pointing silver side towards the cab. Let's see if we're any better luck with this. I mean, an alternative to filing the tabs down is to make the holes bigger, but that definitely isn't going to happen. I think it's just that these are obviously CAD designed. These are designed to fit really tight, but what they don't seem to have taken into account is that once you get a layer of paint on them, it actually makes the parts a little bit thicker. And because these are obviously designed with such tight tolerances that they just don't fit once the paint is on. Right, there we go, that hole is in. There you go, that's gone in fine. So there's our little hydraulic jack. We can pop that shelf back in there. I think what's happened with this is as we put the other pieces in, it's pushed the side of the cabinet in, but that I'm happy with. I don't know if you can see it, you've got a jack there and you've got a hammer there, and that's not coming out, so we can close those doors. That shelf obviously isn't in enough. There we go, that's that done, and that is that stage complete. So what I'm going to do, because I know what's coming next, I don't think I'm going to need this I need something soft. I know just the thing actually. This stick. So we have this stick which, if you remember, was useful for pushing buttons and things. So I'm going to use that to bring the ladder down. So that ladder is, that fire truck, I don't believe it's going to be used for a couple of issues. So we'll just push that back. And then we'll take a look at issue 73, which are some wheels and some tyres. Scissors. I still am loving the way these are all packed, because you've got your bag and then everything is in bags, which I think is a really nice touch. So rear wheels. Now it's time to complete the wheels. Hooray! So we have got 4 different components. We have, first of all, we have got 4 rear tyres, and again this is something that we haven't something that we've done before. The 4 tyres, just give them a bit of a clean up for any flash. So nice little 4 tyres there. To go with that, we have got 2 outer wheels, which are these pieces here. Surprisingly, these are plastic. And then we have got the inner wheels, and the difference between the inner and the outer wheels, the main obvious difference, is that you have this pokey out bit. The inner wheels don't have that. There we go. And then we have a single L screw. I'm guessing the L screw is what we attach the wheels with, which I think we will finish in the next issue. So maybe the L screw will come with the next issue. Right, so the rear wheels, push the inner wheel into one of the rear tyres so that the tyre rims tuck snugly around the groove in the wheel. That's this one. Now, if the tyre is very tight, try soaking it in hot water for 1 minute. We will give it a go. I really don't think this is going to happen, and I should have pre-planned this, and no, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to do a cut, do an edit, get some hot water, and I'll just chuck all of those. And they're going to be quite hard to do, because if you remember when I've done this with the Root Master and the Eddie Stobart, I can get a kitchen roll in there and just dry all the inside there. That's not going to happen with this. So we'll see what I can do. Okay, so I've got some hot water. You can see it's hot because you can see the steam coming out. So obviously I don't need to tell you, I will anyway. Be very, very careful with hot water. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to do 2 bits and then we're going to repeat it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing twice, then the same thing twice, then we'll progress. So find something to pick this out with, and look at that, nice and squidgy now. So I'll just get most of the water out. I use 3 bits of kitchen roll, 1 to put it on the table with, 1 to pat it dry with, and then I'm going to use the 3rd piece just to try and get as best as I can inside there. Actually, it's a lot easier than I thought. Just get a little bit of kitchen roll, just really push it in there. I want to get as much. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but if I feel that if I leave any steam in there, when it cools down, that will just turn to water, and it runs. Oh, this is so much easier. Right, so we're just going to keep pushing that tyre on, adjusting it, checking both sides, pull it backwards and forwards until you really see that's not quite lined up. I'm not quite happy with that. So we just keep pushing it backwards and forwards, and then same on the other side. Like I missed a bit there, so I'll just keep pulling it backwards and forwards until I'm happy, and I am now happy. So we'll repeat that. So I'll put that there. So don't stick your hands in there, guys, because in fact don't even touch this when it's come out, because it is hot. I can assure you it's hot. And obviously because this rubber tyre has been in the water for a bit, the rubber will be warm. So if you're of a very young age, I would advise you to get some parental help. Although I do aim my channel for sort of 14-year upwards, it helps with the copper, but also I feel that some of the equipment that I'm using in these builds, glues and knives and pliers and things, you know, I do worry that if you're too young you might get yourself hurt. So middle bit's going in the tyre. I'm going to pull one bit over, pull the other bit over. You see it's not in yet, so I'm just going to keep pushing it backwards and forwards until I'm happy. Oh, one thing I meant to check is when you've done the other ones, the second side, go back, check the first. Right, so you should have plenty of working time with this. It's not going to go cold and hard instantly, but there we go, guys. So if you compare that to your tyres that's on your truck already, you'll see that you'll feel that the ones are on the truck are rock hard. Right, they're on. I'm happy with that. Right, so the 3rd and the 4th tyres, a little bit different because the wheel is different. Okay, that's got most of that water off. Just finish that off. Get the inside nice and dry. It doesn't matter which tyre goes where, they're all identical. So this is pretty much the same, except you've got this little post there. So find a way to push that in. That's gone in fine. Now watch when you're pushing these. I've told you to push and pull them, but this has got little sticky out bits. If you push too hard with your fingers, it could hurt your fingers, so do be careful, guys. Right, so that's on fine. So we'll get a look at that. That's terrible, isn't it? So we'll just keep pushing and pulling this one. And that's, oh, that's pulled this off a bit, so we'll pull that backwards and forwards. This is why you check the first side again. Okay, that's that one in place, and then we'll get the last one done, and then we'll get rid of that water because it's hot. So if you knock it while it's on the table, you could get a scald. This is why I suggest if you're quite young, try and ask a parent or a grandparent or a relative, someone that you consider responsible, to help you. So we'll just get that white inside, and I can see I'm not quite happy with that. Just caught at an angle and it looked a bit funny. Right, so pop that one in, push and pull it. As you push and pull it, the end of the tyre will just kind of naturally catch. But as again, be careful with these little sticky out bits. Let's pull that off. Right, so I'm going to give a quick final check on these. Because these have been out of the water for a bit, they're starting to cool down. So make sure they're all okay. Fine, fine, fine. Right, lovely, that's that done. So next stage, very important, make sure these are absolutely dry, because you're going to be doing a little bit of gluing next. And if you've got any moisture, the glue's not going to stick. So do a dry fit. You see that you've got a bit of the wheel sticking out there. That wants to go over there. You'll see you've got 4 lugs there, 4 holes there. Just rotate that till it fits okay, which it doesn't seem to want to do. These actually are push fitting quite nicely, but I will glue them as the instruction asks. So little dab of glue, 1 into each of these. Oops, too much glue there. 1 into each of these holes, and just, you know, it doesn't hurt to just go over the hole a little bit, and then that will hopefully catch the flat bit there, and that's in place nicely. Look at that. And this bit won't be seen actually, so even if you did make a bit of a mess, try not to make a mess obviously. That's glued nicely. And I'm going to do the same with these. Test fit, gone in nice, very nice. So little tiny dab of glue on each of the holes. I think all this glue really does, it just makes sure those wheels stay in place until you screw them in. Once they're screwed in, because you've got the bit there, I think it's going to stay anyway. But I'm using the glue because the magazine says so. Right, so that is the end of that stage complete, and because we're going to be attaching these wheels next, I'm going to recommend you leave this overnight for that glue to set, so that we know that see, that is sticking. It's the tires that are coming off. No, it's the wheels. Right. So I'm going to apply a bit more glue to that then, but I'm going to glue them to the attached to the pegs. So if you want to apply a bit more glue, you can always apply to the flat bit where the peg is. And I'm running out of glue, and I don't want to put any more on because I'm just being a bit lazy there. Right. But whatever you do, make sure those pegs do go through there. There you go. Oh, that's much better. That's stuck down. Right, guys, so I am going to leave this for a while. I want to let this cool down so that they go hard. And then I want to just let that glue just cure a little bit more. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so on to stage 74, which is the last stage of this particular video. We have got, let me just reduce that. I can't get all of the parts on the screen. I've got the instructions on the screen, and I like to get the descriptions and the pictures. So we have got a large accessory storage. Again, there we go. It's a little bit different from before, I think. I'm not sure. We have got a water cooler storage. We have got a, this is cool. This is cool. I say it's cool. It's funny the little things that you think are cool, but there's a traffic cone. The painting is a little bit off on that. It's not going to spoil the build. Then we have got, they've just called it accessory. I think I recognise this from earlier on. There we go. Can you see it in there? That looks like that's what we're going to be doing, but on that side perhaps. Right, so we have got a sand bottle. Sand bottle. And we have got a hubcap. So that looks like it's going to be the rear hubcap. we have got 2 water coolers, which we've seen these before, and then we've got an L-type screw which is going to go straight into my pot, although I suspect we will use it this issue. Remember I said we got an L-type screw in the last issue. Also this hubcap, I know we're probably going to use them this issue, but I'm going to pop that straight into the box loose with that large one there. Have we now got, how many have we got? Oh great, we've got a spare rear hubcap. Fantastic. Right, so let's crack on. So we are going to attach the final wheels. So let's clear our desk a little bit of all these lovely bags. But what I do is when I take the parts out of these bags, I put them to one side thinking they're useful bags, I'll use them. And then I end up with so many bags, I really have no alternative but to throw them away because it's just too much. Maybe I can find a spare drawer for them. Right, so let's move all our parts to one side. It's a shame we haven't, maybe we should put the wheels on last to get rid of these parts, but it's okay. So I'm going to show you this. I'm not going to be able to show you this too clearly, I'm afraid. Because I'm going to be working from this angle. I'll do my absolute best. What we need to do is take one of our wheels and we need to pop it over the wheel section there, like that. And then we are going to attach that with an L-type screw. So although I may not be able to show you, I'm pretty sure you can see what I'm doing. This is a top hat screw, a washer screw, whatever you want to call it. What that's going to do is it will screw into the middle of that peg, but it will actually come out wide, so it'll stop this from coming off. We've done this before because I'm looking at the wheel next to it and I can see that that's got a washer screw in it as well. Right, so I've got it started, but I can't really get the purchase, so I'm going to have to turn this to the side. And I'm going to put that on until it stops. Now, although I'm not going to be pushing this truck along the ground, I do want the wheels to move freely, which I can see they do. In fact, that one's better than that one. So I'm just going to back that screw off. No, that's still not happening, is it? Okay, that's obviously a bit of a duff wheel, but that one's on. And then what we want to do now is put a hubcap on. So we take one of these caps. How many have we got? Let's use the 2 that were already in the box. I think one fell off. Yes, one did fall off. So this bit I'm not actually doing. This should already be on, I believe. But that's how it's going to go in. So you see you've got a couple of little tabs in there. That's what happened. Yes, the lugs, this is actually a defect part. So if this doesn't go on, I'll contact Agora for a new one. That's gone on okay, actually. I could glue that on, but I don't want to, because if I ever, yeah, that's not on. That's on a little bit loose. I think, yeah, I think that'll be okay, but it is on quite loose. It's a slight, now that I can compare it to another hubcap, I can see it's a little bit defective on the end, but that's not going to hinder the build. Right, so I'm guessing the next stage, yes, the next stage is to turn the model around, and we're going to put the other rear wheel on. So L screw at the ready. And again, I'm going to have to do a little bit of this so that you can't see it because of my working angle. But tilt the model, pop the screw on over there like so. Get our L screw. Screw that into the middle. that seems to be okay for me. Lovely. There we go, and that's what it looks like with the screw in. And the one next to it, you can see what it looks like with the hubcap on. So no hubcap, no hubcap. So what I'll do now is I will take the hubcap from, I'm going to take that front hubcap out because I think I've just knocked something off, I think. No, I just caught this bit there. It just felt like I'd knocked something off. I'm having a bit of an issue with the cupboard doors on this. Every time I tilt this up, the doors open. So they're not staying closed as well as I'd hoped. But there we go. So that's what it looks like with the hubcap on, and this is heavy. Right. So yeah, some of these doors aren't staying closed. I'm going to do a bit of a cheat. I'll put some blue tack on the ones that don't stay closed. So let's place that front hubcap on. That isn't part of this stage build, but as I've got this front hubcap, I might as well pop it on. I can't remember if that's a part for later or a part that maybe we weren't told to put it in, so we didn't. Or maybe it was just a part that fell out and I kept it out. Right, that's not gone in. That's not in flat. I'm not totally happy with that. So I just want to push that in a bit. That's right, I'm happy enough with that. Right, so that's that one. Right, so let's put the engine to one side for a bit. So we need one of the water coolers and we need the accessory storage. So the water cooler is going to go in the smaller section, and there's a little big raised lug, and that's going to push in like that. It does say apply a little bit of super glue if necessary, which I think we're going to need some. Yeah. Let's see if this one fits any better. You can't always tell if it's a case of the water cooler isn't fitting. Oh, yeah, it's going to need glue. Right. So I said I didn't want to get the glue out again. I was being lazy, but now I'm going to need it. So big dollop of glue. So what we'll do is we will just go along the edge. Don't know if you can see that very well, guys. And then I'll try and go around the sides. If you can just get one or two sides, that'll be enough to hold that in. So we'll push this one in, give it a couple of wee seconds. You can tell I'm turning Scottish, can't you, because I'm using words like we, and that still doesn't want to go. So let's do what we probably should have done in the first place and apply the glue to the bottom of the water cooler, the part that's going to make contact with the bottom of the storage container. Got a little bit too much on there, but I don't think that's going to show. And now it's not even going in. There we go, that's in. Right, oh, and that's in solid now, so I'm happy with that. Right, so next we want the accessory, the large accessory. We've got a couple of pins in there, and we've got some holes in there, and we're just going to push that in. Might be easier to do it upside down, might not be. Probably be easier to use some tweezers. Now I saw some tweezers a moment ago. Yeah, I think this is how I did it before. If you get some tweezers, you see that bit, it reduces in size. Just get some tweezers there, and then we can. I've just noticed actually it's got different size pegs, but this is in the correct way round. Right, they're in. Once those pegs are definitely lined up, you can push them in quite hard, but if you do push it, make sure you push over the peg, Because if you push the pegs there and you push there, what you're going to do is apply pressure and it's going to break. If you apply it there, it'll obviously break that way. If you apply pressure on the top, it can only go down. That I'm happy with. And this is going to go in. Push the assembled accessory box into the roof of the main body. So let's move our truck around to match. Into the roof of the main body. Ah, there we go. It needs to go. So did I put the last one on the wrong side? Does it matter? So it's suggesting it goes there, but we put that one there. So I'm going to put this on the other side. And that goes in like a dream, and I can't see a problem with it. They both look the same. Right, so let's move this round this way because I can see what's coming next. Because we've done this side before, and I know we've got a water bolt, so you can see what's coming next, can't you? So I'll get this round ready. Right, so sand bottle goes into the top and push firmly to fix. So you see we've got one there. We're just going to put one on that side as well. That goes in like a dream. That's not going to fall out. And the last bit, or this next bit, take a water cooler, pop it in there, and that's definitely going to need glue. Look. So we'll glue it properly this time. We're not going to mess around with pegs. So I'll put a little bit of glue just around the bottom, and just for good measure I'll put some on the inside, and then we can pop that into there and give that a few seconds. If it works, it will be stuck quite quickly, which for some reason it's not. This does this to me sometimes. This glue, I don't know if it's old glue, saying that it's melted the paint off, so it might have just stuck the paint to the piece, and then once I pulled it, it's just pulled the paint off. If that's the case, this should be a better result. Much better, much better. Right, so that water cooler is going predictably there, and this has got a shape to the peg. It's going in that way. Why this is directional, I'm not really sure, but there you go, that's in place. Then the traffic cone, you see it's got a hexagonal bit and it's got a circle there, so that's not going to fall out of place. That goes in there. If you want to glue it, you can, but that's fine. And that's stage complete. That is now the stage complete. So you can see it's getting so much more busy. It's lots of little tiny bits that, you know, you don't play with the bits, but lots of different little colours. It's actually getting quite exciting now, isn't it? So guys, it's getting a bit sad because this being issue, forget what issue this is now, 74. Yeah, so 75's, we've got, oh, we've got 2 more videos left. Do we have 2 more videos left? Yes, we've got 2 more videos, 75, 76. Sorry guys, I've just lost where I am. Yeah, we've got 2 more videos left, so still a bit more building to do, and we know the last issue is going to be quite an exciting one. So let's have a quick recap. The steering on this hasn't come out very well, which I'm not overly concerned about, because I'm not going to be steering it around the floor, am I? But look, it's getting really nice, so much going on, and I can see that there's still a lot of work to go in there. There's not enough going on the ladder for me, on this big ladder yet for the moment. I can see that the main things that need doing is we need ladders on there. Is that? Yeah. And we need this fire, we need the water hose to go along there. So how they're going to do that, I do not know. Because obviously you can put a hose along there. Is anything going to happen with these? Because these rotate. I'm wondering if that something happens with that. I don't know. Right, so guys, I'll leave the video there. I am happy with what's happening, what's going on. Really close to the finish now. So yeah, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next video where we will be doing, I've forgotten what we're doing, the aerial base section ladder and waterway, and the aerial lower midsection ladder and waterway. So take care guys, I'll see you in the next video.